Hey guys, welcome to another Addicted podcast brought to you by our good friends here at Nick Wax. It's the rainy season. You guys know the drill, right?
That's right.
Apparently I don't know how to use it, but
You gotta use the whole bottle, bro.
Yeah,
If you,
no. But now I know.
Remember
No,
last
except
week
battle.
it was the top loader versus the front loader?
Is that what's going on?
Let's not get into that.
Yeah, we're not getting into that.
Oh,
It's on the
man.
instructions there, but special thanks to those guys for help supporting this podcast. And, if you guys already recognized, or maybe you didn't recognize, there was a third voice in this podcast here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's Jordan.
It's Jordan trying to be Peter.
You heard the laugh. He's here.
No,
he's
so-
here.
We got special guests in house tonight. Last week, we were able to talk a little bit about like how Jordan and I got into some of our guiding shenanigans, and we got a great opportunity here to get Mr. Nick Popov in house.
Yeah,
Say
baby.
hi, buddy.
Yeah, we got great feedback from you guys. I received some personal messages and stuff that, some of you viewers out there and listeners really, really appreciated just those down to earth kind of, storytelling type of podcasts, something you guys can keep cruising down the road and listen to. But we went pretty in depth of where I kind of got on a tangent of where what I did for a living before.
Which was
we
cool
did
because
too.
last week we were filming, and you even pointed to the cell tower
Yeah,
where you were at when that moment when you said, screw it, I'm guiding.
high up on a mountain. But
That's cool.
so we thought we'd take the opportunity because I feel like most guides, unless you're going to be like Cameron's young man son who is just born to be a
born
fishing
for
guide,
it.
you mostly go through some sort of change in your life or some sort of harsh moment that really makes you want to do it. So let's get down to the
Yeah,
nitty
sure.
gritty here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What was your story, Cam? I never heard that one.
That's for another podcast. Or you know what? You can go back and listen to that podcast.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to listen to
I'm
it.
gonna
Yeah.
have to listen to.
I don't
it.
even know if I got into it too much, but why don't you introduce yourself,
Well,
guide service and all that good
Yeah.
stuff.
I'm Nick Popov, owner of Peel the Real Guide Service, and Addicted Fishing, and I'm out here with the boys today. So
That's right.
pretty stoked.
Nick kind of comes in from Northern Oregon, and it's a really good opportunity to get him up here into the studios every now and then, kind of in between some fishing right now. But he's one of our boys. We
Yeah.
do a ton of filming with him. If you guys are familiar with the Addicted YouTube, the Addicted Fishing YouTube channel, we do a lot of stuff with them, but we don't get him up here too often.
It's been tough, man. I've been on a grind.
Oh,
I
We
think
went
I've
out
had-
fishing today though.
Hey, I got out fishing today
You guys
for
are
fun
sick.
for the
It was a
first
good
time
buddy
in
day.
a million years. I think I've had 7 days off or 9 days off since July 28th, so I'm running thin. Not a lot of
Working
time.
man
Life of a
blues.
guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Life of
so
a
what made
guy.
you get into all this craziness then?
Well, so I was doing sales. I kind of got out of high school. I fished my whole life. My dad taught me to fish, kind of, got me into the fishing industry or I guess the fishing world, started trout fishing, bass fishing. I was the kid that we'd go out fishing, and then when they were cleaning the boat, I'd still be fishing off the dock, early, went until dark. And
Did you start with bluegill by chance?
I caught you, dude. It didn't matter what it was. We used to go down to the creek, catch anything that swam, and it's still the same way I am today. I just enjoy fishing, period. Time went on. I got out of high school, and me and my brother it was kind of crazy. I think my senior year, I probably missed half my senior year because we were going down steelhead fishing all the time. And so I got real good at it. And I remember Nestucca Valley Sporting Goods, there was a guy there by the name of Ron Bird. And he was a rod designer. They owned a tackle shop basically. And he just started telling me, he's like, man, you got the personality. You should start guiding. And I'd bought my first drift boat from him. And so I thought about it and kind of went in, got better and better, started, running the drift boat. But then I took a sales position, and I was selling cell phones, It was funny you said a tower, because I was selling cell phones for a long,
Small
long
world.
time. Yeah. So I took a pretty high position with a cell phone company and managed a couple stores. And to be honest, I got tired of the dealing with the public and day to day.
So you got tired of dealing with the public in the store, so you want to deal with them out the.
You
Yeah,
wanted
man.
the one-on-one
different,
experience.
yeah, different setting. But no, what really drew me away from the sales thing was my dad got real sick, and when my dad got sick, I got put on Family Medical Leave Act through my work, and it was like they were doing everything they could to fire me while my dad was sick. And my dad just said, you know what, dude? He's like, just quit. he's like, go guide. That's what that's what you're born to do. That's what I want you to do. And so I just took a leap of faith, and I went from doing it part-time, like here and there when I could out of my drift boat, and just made the full jump, man, and said, I'm going full speed, and kind of the rest is history, man.
Then the time starts to fly.
Oh, I was gonna say, how old were you when you made the
So
jump?
I've been back full-time for 6 years. In between there, I went up, I actually got an offer to go up to Alaska, because I was like, my dream was like, oh, I want to be a guide in Alaska. And I happened to know this guy who offered me a position up there, and I went up there and ran a boat for, I think, 5.5 years up there. Ran an offshore boat, and even still, it's different. Going up to Alaska is much different than fishing here in the Northwest and in your drift boat, and
when you're running your own.
Right.
That's what I was gonna say. The
That's
first
the
thing that came
biggest
to my mind
difference.
was I feel like any experienced fishing guide has to go and work in Alaska, because nothing will make you more motivated to be self-employed
Right.
than
You
guiding.
realize-
It's a great lesson. Like you learn
100%.
how to get into fish mode and how to rally on weeks worth of work and stay in it and keep your head right. But also you realize how important it is to be a sole proprietor. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Well, I think Alaska was the most important thing for me in my guiding career, because it taught me how to be responsible, and it built a foundation of how to start a business, how to run a business. And, I saw this guy who in Alaska he had a real successful business up there, and he was very, he was younger. He was a younger dude, and he ran a hell of a company. And it was I kind of mentored my business after him,
And one thing you do, you look at, you go up there and you get to see how it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And, I took a little bit of a different route and started guiding just kind of cold turkey down here. And that was terrifying.
Yeah, I
You get
bet.
these weird people in your boat. You don't know what to do.
Right.
And so when you go to Alaska, you definitely get to go up there.
you get the same weird people for 3 days.
But they're not your
Mine
weird
were
people.
5.
Yeah.
Mine
You know what
were
I'm saying?
5
They're not
trips.
your weird people.
Yeah, that's
though.
right. Yeah.
I got the opportunity a couple of years ago to go do 6 weeks at the Kingfisher camp
Yep.
on Michigan. That was vacation.
Yeah.
Because it's you almost want to go back, because then it's I don't have any other responsibilities except
Mhm.
to get these
To
people
get the
fishing.
guys
You're not
fish.
cleaning your boat. You're not
Right.
doing your paperwork,
Yep.
paying your bill, relicensing.
All that. Speaking of that, I just did that.
I was gonna say, I'm
Kind of headache.
you got so much else to do, but there's also a bunch of pride in that
Right.
too,
Yeah. Yeah.
and owning it your own.
Yeah, and I think that Alaska experience was and I think every guide, I think a large percentage of us guides probably start up there in some way, shape, or form. But you start to realize, man, I'm doing a lot of work for not very much money.
For somebody else.
Yeah.
There's
someone else
nothing
is-
wrong with it though, because
No,
it is
that's-
amazing up there.
yeah.
I mean, you can't find that anywhere
Oh
else in
man,
the world.
I still think about. I'll never forget my first trip up there. I had 5 guys come up, and I ran a 30-foot offshore boat, North River, twin 150s, and it's we're doing salmon fishing, halibut fishing, and it was my first trip, first guided trip. I'm all nervous, and we were fishing in Glacier Bay National Park, and I get set up and I get all the rods out, and I look back, and the rod is just folded over with a halibut, and I'm like, oh hell yeah.
I can do this.
It's a monster, dude. It was 240 pounder, first fish of the year, first fish of my ever, So I get the harpoon ready, and I'm all jacked, dude, and I harpoon this thing. It's just going, oh, just tearing into me, and I'm hanging on to this, because we do them to 30 foot of line to a fun ball, and you're supposed to throw the fun ball, but I always like to hang on to them, and see if I could just hold them as far as I could. Well, dude, this thing goes to run. It rips out of my hands. It pulls the rod tight. The buoy gets wrapped around my thing and just pulls the harpoon line and breaks this dude's line. So he loses his first fish of my guiding career up there.
Well, it's a 240 pound
pounder.
halibut. What are you going to do?
But I didn't even get it was I harpooned him, but I got a skin wound. I didn't realize, dude, you got to stick it to him when it's harpoon time, It was just
You got to be Tonto.
right. Yeah. So it was a sharp learning curve, and but it's something I'll never forget, So that's kind of how I got started,
Did you catch other fish though?
Oh, we did. We got all our help. I took a little more. I was a little nervous on the second one.
A little more careful.
Yeah.
I got to say, Alaska was huge for me as well in my career, because That was the first place I got to take these guys fishing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, with your addicted career
And
too,
that
right?
worked out pretty good.
Right, yeah. Now look. I know
Just
it's
turned out to
crazy.
be a record year.
I was just saying, I heard if you don't take us back here pretty quick, we're gonna have to have a chat about
I
that.
know.
Except for I'm going this time.
If I disappear, you guys could probably guess one of two places I'm at.
Off the grid.
Yeah.
Chile, huh?
Yeah, that's funny.
All first trips, dude. You know, you talk about that. I remember my first trip was going down and taking these two guys, a husband and his wife. And we back then we wouldn't even like side drift. We just go like anchor for steelhead.
Oh, that's all right. Yep.
And I remember going down there and missing like the first like 6 and 7 bites and just I had never had anxiety like that in my life. And then we catch 2 fish and I'm like same thing, you know, like typical guy, like we only got 2 fish, blah blah blah. And then you go back and I remember I got a check. Like there was no square. There was nothing like taking cards on cell phones. I got a check.
Right.
Big tip. Wow. What do you know?
This is pretty cool. I think I can do this.
Yeah, game on to that.
I remember one of my first trips. I remember my very first trip was like, it's not even fun to talk. It was just easy. Like, stopped in some random spots. Really, just did not have my routine. You know, like it was one of your first real fishing.
Was it
trips.
where you took us?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I expect that.
Well, no, not up there. It was on my home river.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. It was like
okay.
right when I started all that, and you know, we just like casually caught 3 or 4. The guys were all stoked because they'd never caught steelhead before, and it was really sweet. But in the first year I guided, one thing that really kind of set my mindset and will be this way for the rest of forever was, it's probably like the second or third trip, honestly, that I'd ever done. I had this older gentleman who had just retired, was a car salesman. Super cool guy, you know, close to 70, late 60s. And it was, I was fortunate the first couple of years I started guiding, you know, 6-7 years ago, we were getting phenomenal runs.
Right.
And so I got this guy down there, and it's just me and him. It's just one guy, and he's getting around, you know, we're catching fish. We're about 3-4 fish in, and we get to like the best spot of the day. And I walk him out into the river, and I'm like, all right, stand on that rock right there. And it's just a big flat, like table, you know, coffee table size rock, you know, like about a 2-foot step up. And I'm like, here, grab my shoulder and just step up there so you can cast. And he goes, no, I can't. And I'm like, what? And he's like, I can't get up there. I'm not going to stand up there. Because he like physically couldn't, you know, and it like, I remember even then, like the first year of guiding, like sitting there and like thinking about it and like looking at the dude. And I'm like, man, this guy worked his butt off his whole life. Finally got to a comfortable place where he could enjoy himself and spend money on a guided fishing trip. And he couldn't even achieve the luxury of stepping up on a rock, you know? And I'm like, this is what I want to do.
Right.
This is what I'm going to do until I physically or mentally cannot do it anymore because
Till you can't.
It's so bad. Like to be able to run down the riverbank, hopping from, you know, top of each rock to each rock, chasing a fish. Like there's so much wealth and like quality and beauty in that, you know. And it's like, man, I wouldn't trade it for the world, for any kind of money, to be able to like, you know, live in your youth and be functional and like to your full ability while you get to enjoy the outdoors and stuff like that's really important, I feel like. So for anybody listening, kind of unguiding related, but just, you know, take your time to go and have that fun, because when you finally do work up to retirement, I don't think you can enjoy it the same way. Right. You know? That's when I really saw, like, I knew I wanted to do it. I got licensed, blah, blah, blah. But when I saw that, I was like, man, this is what I'm going to do forever. Yeah.
It was kind of the same thing, you know, when my dad got sick, that was kind of what pushed me to, like, there was that moment in time where I was just like, you know, he told me to do it. And I left a really good job, like secure benefits, good money, took care of my family, you know, like, to go do this like adventure that who knows, like, where am I going to get clients? Where am I going to, you know, where's my next paycheck coming from? And, you know, I mean, it's just kind of crazy how it all worked out, but you know, it's like you build these clients, you know, you build this clientele and these friendships and these relationships through guiding. And I mean, it's crazy where it
has to happen naturally. You can't force it for sure.
That's 100%. And then, so I mean, it's just crazy, man.
So at what point did you meet the crew?
That's kind of crazy too. Yeah. So that was actually, what was that, like 4? I had to be.
I'm trying to think. I don't even remember,
ago.
but I'm trying to think. I think I know the first time we went and filmed with him.
It was my first year.
We invited him into a live feed. I invited
on
him
the
into a live
Willamette.
feed
That's
to
what
the
it was.
Willamette
In
river
Cameron's
in
garage.
Cameron's garage, and that was the first time we ever met.
That's right.
And
Yeah,
I remember we
okay.
told him the cracker joke from Jerry, just to like warm him up and see what he would think of how our personalities was. And I remember him busting up laughing and going, "Yep, he'd fit with us."
Yep, dude. I'll never forget that because I was like a big fan, you know. Like it was kind of funny because the first time I met Marlon was at a sportsman show, and I was like, I went and said what's up, and I talked to Cameron for a minute. I was actually working with Dave at Dave's Tangle Free in his booth, and that was when you guys were like right across the aisle from Dave's Tangle Free. It was not on the spot we're at now, but
No.
years ago. I mean, this was 5-6 years ago.
Lucas was doing it.
Yeah. Lucas was there. Yep. And I walked up and talked to you guys, and like said what's up to Marlon, and he was just busy in the middle of stuff, and I walked away, and I couldn't tell if he was like,
You're
didn't
what a
like
dick.
me. Yeah, I was like, no, I mean, like, that's like kind of was my opinion. And then like later down the road, I mean, not that.
Well, no, yeah.
No. I mean,
So
that's
laughing
not,
over
you know
here.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Though it's like, I didn't know if he was like, who's that dude or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then he approached me months later, dude. And I don't know, I kind of felt like it's meant to be. And it's kind of crazy how life works. You know, you meet these people and they bring me in to do a live feed. I think it was about Willamette Springers, wasn't it? Yeah. So I came in and I talked about Willamette Spring Chinook, and I just kind of got involved after that. We did like a walleye episode after that, and just kind of like.
I think
filmed
one of the first ones we did with you was we went down your home river when the water was really, really
No,
low.
that was like a year into it because that was when my son got real sick. Remember when we went and did that?
It was.
That was actually 2 days before he went in the hospital because I
right.
remember
That's right.
I got the phone call when I was on the phone, and she's
Yeah.
like, he's still got a fever. We need to go to the hospital.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh God. So,
And
yeah.
like Nick fashion, we were fishing
yeah,
dawn till dark. So
It
I
was
remember
dark. It was
later
dark.
it was below the, I can't say the hole, but it's like below the
Yes.
usual takeout. We went to the other takeout.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, it's crazy. And then, you know, life takes you into these weird places. And so here I sit with all you wild
Next thing you know, you're
animals.
back
Right.
bouncing all day.
Yeah, right. Doing live feeds and podcasts. You know, I wouldn't take, you know, honestly, like I look back at how this all started, and I don't think I would change anything about it. I went through some hard times, man, in between like leaving my job to like figuring out an income for myself. I remember just like I would take anything, you know. And so when I see these new guys that come out and stuff, these newer guides, and they discount themselves and they're advertising this stuff, I remember being in their shoes, you know, one day and just going, man, I'll take anything to make some money. And so, you know, there's a learning curve, and like a, you know, kind of that's one thing that's just so important, you know.
Teach you to live within your means for
Right.
sure.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. Some hard times in between.
Yeah, it's a
there.
different story. How old were you when you flipped the switch again?
I was, what am I now? 38. I was probably 31 or 32. Yeah. Yeah. Cause and it was, you know, I had switched before my dad had passed, and I was doing like, you know, guiding and work and trying to like intermingle, and it just wasn't working. You know, it's like trying to run a guiding business and you know, fish at the same time. I mean, and work a full-time job is like, you're never going to commit to both of them, you know? So it was like, I would leave one short no matter which way I turned. And so, you know, once my dad finally passed, it was like, or right before he passed, you know, I just said, screw it, and walked in, handed them the slip, said, I'm out, man. And they all couldn't believe, I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Mic drop.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of what was one of those moments in your
One
life.
drop.
Yeah. Right.
Well, yeah, you know, you're right. You're right on that, because that's literally the way I quit Fish and Wildlife. I walked in with my CWT wand and my data loggers and just sat on the desk and said,
Yeah.
time to go.
Yeah. They were, you know, yeah, it's just,
I mean, great people, great job, but at the same time, it's
you got to go do what makes you happy,
Yeah.
man. And that was not what was making me
a
happy.
defining moment in
Right.
that.
Well, luckily we're all happy now,
That's right, man.
and we got a big year ahead of us. 2021 is going to be crazy.
I think it's
But
gonna be the best
Steelhead
year I've
are
ever
here.
seen.
You guys stay tuned for more of these podcasts coming up. We're going to be talking a lot of steelhead in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
And yeah, awesome stories. If you guys want to hear more, you can hear Cameron and I's stories. Go check out last week's podcast. And a huge thanks again for you guys listening to this.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thanks again, guys, and we'll see you on the road.